Well, I've never been more excited, but also a little bit crushed, because I made a Borderlands video, and I decided to hang on to it far too long, and then everybody on the planet just released all of the gameplay, and all on the main character, Flak, which is the most unknown character, and is now the most known character of all of the characters that have been released, which is awesome. I'm super hyped. Bit sad that that video basically got redundant super fucking fast, but I'm back quicker. Hopefully I'll upload this faster. Also, oh Jesus. All right, so we're gonna be starting with just updating you guys on general things. I don't want to spoil anything, so I know some people are kind of being weary with the gameplay, because basically all the footage we got was the beginning of the game. So we get to see the first zone you get to play with. We get to see certain characters. We get to see almost all of Flak's action skills from all different angles, because what do you call it? Gearbox is doing this super big influencer push and whatnot, which is cool. And that's why we got so much gameplay to look at. But with that being said, some people may not exactly want to watch all those all at once. I will say my only little nitpick from the gameplay that I've seen is not a lot of people using the alternative fire modes enough, to me at least. I feel like everyone forgets about them way too quickly. But yeah, that may just be my proactive ass brain, which is like, do something, you can do this, and you're not doing it right now. Why aren't you doing that right now? Ah, you finally did it, thank God. Okay, sorry. But yes, I will try to keep things generally spoiler-free, but I do want to kind of shine a slight light on certain things, but not really, again, spoil things. Cool, let's go. All right, so the thing I want to start with is something that I've seen in Inside Gaming. I would highly advise you guys to go check out the channel, and specifically their Borderlands preview, because they were actually pretty so-so on the game when it launched, and they've come around to it, and they, of course, have their reasons why. But they did an interview with a couple of the designers, and I thought there were a couple things to note that I thought you guys should know about. One of the things that I thought was wicked is they talk about how the Calypso twins, the reason for why doing influencers slash streamers being kind of like douchers, super douches, well, it wasn't because they're just trying to stick it to streamers, so to speak, although I'm sure that's some part of it, because, you know, right now in our culture, there is just a ton of, I don't know, douchey people who happen to be influencers, or, you know, like Instagram people whose egos are the size of skyscrapers and whatnot. Anyways, but again, they said that this wasn't some sort of takedown. What they said instead is this was, and this is something I didn't actually really put together, but in the world of Borderlands, the entire world, like Pandora and the like, are entirely governed by companies. Valadolf, Dahl, Hyperion was in Borderlands 2 heavily. And it's kind of funny, it's very reminiscent of other worlds, but which Borderlands had this preset beforehand. Essentially, the reason why the Calypsos are so powerful is because they satisfied a demand for the bandits, which gave them incredible power, and it kind of harkens to the same thing that happened a couple years back when YouTube was a thing, and people started making YouTube videos, and then a crazy amount of YouTubers got millions of subscribers and influence and all these things. And that was something that companies couldn't really do, and even now are struggling to do. So this is what the Calypso twins kind of represent, is the same kind of big boom-like effect, which I think is incredibly creative. So yeah, I just thought that was a neat thing to point out, is that the Calypso twins are actually based off of that same kind of thing that happened in our timeline, but also that's such a neat way, because they found a way to garner power where the incredible powerful companies couldn't, in a way that was their own, which I thought is just too cool. The second thing, apparently the comedy in Borderlands is going to slightly shift given the planet that you're actually on. So for Pandora, everything is really drab, and we're kind of used to it. You know, people are gonna be super happy that they get a drink of water, and then, I don't know, tell you to go dig up their uncle's grave for some sort of their skull. I don't know, some sort of, it's like kind of like this weird dark but like hopeless future, because people on Pandora, it's like a barren wasteland desert, so people are they're just happy to be alive for a second. But then there are other places like the new Techno City that is, what is it, like Vladolf City? Is that right? It's the Elemental faction. Anyways, regardless, that city is just on the verge of collapse. So they have a little bit more hope, and the humor kind of shifts with that hope. So they are getting killed on the streets by their overlords or whatever, their Vladolf, or not Vladolf, Maliwan, sorry, Maliwan, Maliwan dictator business company thing. So that's a different kind of perspective on the comedy that's going to take place there, where people are a little more hopeful, things are a little more regimented because it is a city, which we've already kind of seen with Zero, and like the police system there and all those things. Anyways, there's more in that video, so if you guys want to go check that out, you should. Alright, I want to stick this in as soon as I possibly can because I feel like I'm going to forget to talk about it, and I really want to get this off my chest because I was thinking about it in the shower, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what I think about in the shower. I'm a freak, but also this will be awesome. So I was watching a stream as well as just tons of Borderlands gameplay at the moment, but I was watching a stream by a lovely gentleman called King Gathalion. He's part of the whole streaming Borderlands 3 initiative thing. Anyways, that's irrelevant. The point that matters is that he got a badass legendary shield to drop. And the legendary shield is insane. And the legendary shield's prefix was when the shield breaks, you become immune to all damage for 5 seconds. And you get a 10% movement buff. So that's great, and it had me thinking about a specific character that could utilize that incredibly well, and that is Moze. For those guys who do not know, Moze has a skill tree. We'll go over it thoroughly, believe you me, videos are coming. Anyways, which has to do with her basically giving half of her health to be shield, so she basically regenerates shields incredibly well, because also in that skill tree, she has a crazy amount of shield recharge delay decreases and recharge increases. So that's insane. But also, she has a special skill at the very end of her skill tree that restores 40% of her shield when her shield is depleted and will give her 30% gun damage for 30 seconds. So that's crazy. Now, the other thing that she has, because there's more, is she has, whenever you get a critical hit, it will instantly start recharging your shield. Do you guys see the weird synchronization happening in this skill tree with this one legendary? Holy shit, this is awesome. I love it. So basically, you want your shield to deplete. And again, Moze, you can build her in that skill tree specifically very early on for her health to get converted to shield, which will mean it will regenerate, as well as you can make her shield itself more resistant. So your shield depletes, you become immune for 5 seconds, and in that split second, you also have 40% of your shield back, and all you need to do is score a critical hit for your whole shield to start regenerating. And again, she has abilities that enhance her regeneration ability, which I think could easily be achieved getting a full shield again for 5 seconds. And basically, it seems like you would never die, because I'm pretty sure that's how the shield works. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure the shield has to recharge fully in order for you to get the effect again. But again, if you're immune for 5 seconds, you're going to be regaining that shield in no time, especially if you get a critical hit. It will take away the delay. So yeah, because otherwise most characters can use this because of that shield delay. But as soon as Moze gets a critical hit, and she's probably going to be using automatic weapons, i.e. pretty easy for you just to get one critical, and boom, your shield starts regenerating. That's crazy. And again, I imagine with all the regeneration abilities in her skill tree, it could easily reach max charge again and give you that buff again, if that is how the buff is granted. If the buff is passively on a cooldown of 30 seconds, which none of the shields in the previous games have done that, then yeah. Otherwise, this to me is like a great synchronization of that legendary shield, or like a good coupling, a good build, so to speak. And I don't know, stuff like this just gets me happy. But again, the shield is still good with just a few of the other skills. Like, we're gonna go over the entire skill tree of Moze and talk about how insanely tanky she can be, as well as how she can maybe be a berserker with her melee abilities. I just wanted to point that out, some numbers and like effects and juggling that stuff in my head, and then seeing the legendary shield and trying to piece together how it would work. This is what I am. I'm sorry. Anyways, moving on. Alrighty. Ooh, time to finally get into all the gameplay and the side things that we were basically seeing. Something that's not so hidden. Just kind of like in case you missed it, here's something. So one of the things that I thought was interesting is how some of Flak's skills are actually portrayed within the real world. So the second thing is, it looks like a lot of Flak's beast attacks are kind of finicky, but that does give some gravitas to the Jabba, which the Jabba actually has one that seems pretty rad. And that one is the Gunslinger. So whenever you use your action skill ability, your beast attack ability, the Jabba has specifically one where he hurls a rocket launcher, or he shoots someone with a rocket launcher. It seemed like a couple of the other beast abilities were a bit more finicky, like you'd tell your beast to use his action skill and he would try to like line up, which was a bit more finicky, especially with the melee beasts. And yeah, I just felt like that didn't quite fall into place as well as you would have thought. So that may give some, again, like I said, some more potency to the Jabba, who has like a ranged kind of ability or attack, which makes sense why the attack cooldown and attack increase is in his skill tree. So yeah, just thought I'd point that out. The Javelin is looking a little bit more appealing to me, at least, but I still would probably just use the Skag. Okay, so real quick, I'm watching the gameplay and I just seen it and I just thought I had to talk about it. I've seen all of the abilities. The cloaking ability seems okay. It's probably, I would say that's a second powerfulest. And if you guys didn't catch it, Flak's a rack attack is where he throws a bunch of racks, are not what you'd think. It's called, at least this is his words, he calls them pocket racks. So he'll throw a bunch of racks that kind of summon from his hands that are super small. And I think we all kind of figured this, but they're not very damage heavy. They're more just status heavy, and like putting enemies on fire, freezing them, that kind of thing. But also they fly around and do pretty good. The thing that's weird is whenever I've seen them in use, it's anywhere from okay to great. Meaning I've seen people just get obliterated by all these racks just hitting one after the other, and then I've seen enemies just kind of get tapped. So I don't know what that's about. Regardless, it still looks like a fun ability, and an ability that you'd have almost all the time, which is awesome. But the reigning king is easily, or at least in the mid game point, is Flak's Gamma Ray or Gamma Pulse, whatever it's called, where you summon a beast from wherever you summon this thing. I did not know this thing is going to deal this much damage, and I did not know how well this synchronizes with radiation damage. But yeah, everyone was using this, and this just melted bosses, like more than any other skill tree I think I've seen. Don't get me wrong, I think Moze could definitely wreck some bosses with her explosive builds and all these things. Same thing with all the other characters, but I was not expecting Gamma Pulse to be that crazy when it comes to damage, because it doesn't really look like it gives you damage, right? But yeah, that's totally the one I'm going down. I just think it looks too fun, and it's, yeah, great. But yeah, I was slightly disappointed by pocket racks, but also I still think it could be insanely good with some of the builds you can have, especially with the whole getting a critical will regenerate or have a chance to give you a couple seconds off your cooldown, and that can stack as many times as you want. That's craziness. Also, when your pets die, it takes like 60 seconds for them to come back, but you do have to revive them and shit, so that's something to consider, you know? Also, again, Gamma Pulse, or whatever it's called, can revive your fallen pup, and I think, I'm not sure if it actually activates the ability of Gamma Pulse, or if it just revives him. I don't know. Regardless, next thing. Oh, real quick, yeah, your beast changes color with whatever color palette you have on, so that's kind of nice. You can color match. I do wish it was separate, because sometimes you could wear a color palette that you like, but it makes your creature look kind of like fugly. Yeah. Oh, real quick. Well, not real quick. I don't know how long this will take, but one of the things I seen in the gameplay that I was watching is, weirdly enough, there's a lot of like, I don't think they're complicated puzzles so much as just you just gotta follow the trail to solve the puzzle. Yeah, but basically I was just surprised at the amount of cute little puzzles that existed within Borderlands. Like, hey, you need to shoot this pipe, which will leak water near the wires, which will create a connection, and then you need to shoot a windmill, which will cause an electric current to fly through that wire, through the water, and unlock the door so that you can get the chest. Stuff like that, which actually was pretty interesting and didn't seem super difficult. I imagine it gets crazy hard, and again, I think this is for people that play Borderlands for like the 50th time to memorize how to open all these chests and how to get to all these things, which I will definitely be one of. But yeah, I just thought that was nice. Also, the worlds, guys, look so incredibly beautiful. Like the level design all over the place looks fantastic. I cannot wait to play it for myself, and I am very jealous of all the people that got to play it early. Anyway, as I'm sure we all are. Anyway, also a lovely person who existed way back in the Battleborn days. It's called Mental Mars, and he's also covering the game. I would highly suggest go checking him out. He really has the inside scoop with a lot of these things. But he actually showcased us Crazy Earl. So in Crazy Earl's shop, things we've kind of suspected are absolutely a thing. There are new heads that you can buy with Iridium. There are also little keychain things. I'm not sure if the keychain things are going to be on your weapon, because I just haven't seen what that looks like. But there are a couple ones like a callback to Zero. It's like a little keychain, and I think it goes on your weapon. There's keychains of Zero, keychains of Gage, having her like anarchy stacks and things like that. Axton, the whole 9 yards. That's fun. Again, the only question I have about that store is is Iridium like the currency, or is Iridium just like what? Like, is it the monetary currency that might exist in the game, or what are we doing? What are we dealing with right now? This is where I'm at. That would kind of make sense to me, where you could like get it from taking down high-level bosses, but you could also get it from buying if you just want to do that. I don't know. But they're fairly expensive, like $150 to $250 depending on what you were buying. But yeah, some side things where that you can apparently customize your vehicle, which we knew, but it seems like to the extent is greater than I thought. Meaning, that was a real messed up sentence, but you can add armor to your vehicle. You can add, of course, paint jobs. You can add better engines, all those kinds of things. I'm not sure if it will just dissolve into there is a best engine and you will just use that best engine, or if it has to do with things like throttle or max speed or whatever, or maybe by increasing armor on your vehicle will decrease your high top speed. Who knows? No one is quite that anal retentive as me, but yeah, no one answered that question yet, so I'm just kind of like, we'll see when it comes out and all that. And lastly, there was a giant quest that had to do with, I don't know, to me it was a pretty good sense of where we're at in terms of the comedy in Borderlands and the scope of things that they're doing. But basically, I'm sure you guys have seen it at this point, there is a quest with Ice Motherfucking Cube as a little baby teddy bear, which is amazing. And I haven't watched the full like quest because I don't want to spoil too much for me about that quest because it seems super fucking awesome, which is why they're probably showing it. But the basis of the quest is that apparently there were these two navigational AIs. She put him in like a teddy bear and like fired him out the airlock or something crazy. And of course that's Ice-T. So you're basically following around this guided system AI that is Ice-T, who's like a little baby teddy bear, but you're constantly trying to upgrade his body so that he has like some semblance of survival. And you end up slowly upgrading him throughout the course. But it's like thug as shit, but he's like this little plush teddy bear. It's great. Oh, also Ice-T calls her like a bitch. the guidance system, who's a total a-hole and like screwed him over or whatever, which I was actually surprised that they were like going that hard. I don't remember Borderlands being too sweary, although no, I guess it kind of was. Anyways, regardless, I thought it was fucking hilarious and amazing that they're not holding back, which is great. But yeah, you and Ice-T, this little teddy bear, is trying to guide you to get revenge on this person that screwed him over. And yeah, that's generally the premise of the quest. You're moving through this bunker to get to the other AI, as well as they're also like unrequited lovers, or just, well, no, they're lovers, they just hate each other, I guess. The bad breakup and all that, getting thrown out of an airlock or whatever happened to him. But yeah, that's the premise, which is just cute in general, and think it's just awesome. I think it's just a cute little little thing that they've added, but also gives you an idea of the quests. And also, they seem to really hammer home the like additive things within quests. So it's not just like, hey, go to this location, do this thing, bring me back, whatever. Like, it's not like that anymore. It seems like it's more like, hey, or if it is like that, it's a little more tailored back. There's an optional objective to go shoot this person in the ass, or go kill excess bandits, because fuck it, why not? And you'll get extra XP for that, which I think is just endearing and nice, just so there's more to kind of accomplish and do, which I'm always into, especially within Borderlands, where that to me would give it a good bit of replay ability, because maybe you forgot or just messed up and didn't get this one special challenge, and maybe there was some special dialogue tied to that. Oh, also there's collectibles all over the map, it seems. Which is also awesome. Also, ladies and gentlemen, almost forgot to mention this. This is pretty, I don't know, it was in the Inside Gaming video that I already previously mentioned. But basically, the developers kind of allude to some sort of big choice that you will have to make in a split-second decision. So again, in that Inside Gaming video where they interviewed the storytellers, they said that there is a pinnacle choice where you have to make a choice, and they're very interested to see, and they had the cheekiness of being like, some like main character is gonna die. like some sort of like that kind of thing, where they're like, they can't wait to what they think when this happens, which gets me both interested but also worried, because is it gonna be like another scooter thing, or is it, because basically they're saying that we have a split second to make a choice for someone else or something to that effect. I watched a video a couple days ago. Anyways, yeah, that was intriguing to me, because I was just like, well, is somebody dying, and is it going to be like a thing where we have to choose between Lilith or Tiny Tina or something terrifying, or is it going to be something where we literally blow up Pandora and we just get to choose to not go back there, and they're interested to see, are you willing to blow up a planet full of Pandora people to save your friend? Like, I don't, what is it, right? Like, so this is where like a lot of questions arise to this pinnacle choice. Or they could be fucking with us and it could be nothing. It could just be some goofy nonsense. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. It's food for thought, so to speak. Anyways, I didn't watch all the gameplays that are out there because I do want to keep some stuff secretive. Like I tried to tailor back on watching some of the beginning portions of the game because I feel like Borderlands, or just games like this in general, are already kind of slow going at the beginning, so I don't want to kind of give myself more of that, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to know everything that's going to happen in the beginning because it's quite boring in the beginning of games because you're pretty underpowered, you're just kind of slowly getting started and getting the ball rolling. When you start getting near end game, that's when things start getting wicked fun because you start getting access to end tier perks and that starts bulldozing and you're just having a good old time. You also have a specific weapon that you probably really like and are trying to hunt for and etc. So yeah, I try to hold off on the beginning stuff, and I wonder if you guys did the same. But ladies and gentlemen, my friends, I'm pretty sure that is it. That is all the things that I've kind of seen that I think is worth talking about. I probably missed some things, but if I did, then we'll be back talking about it because we have so much to cover in terms of Borderlands goofiness. We are going to be doing a rundown of all of the characters, meaning going through build ideas that I think would work with them, as well as if there's any gameplay, which there will be more. I think on Monday's Gamescom, which they probably will release a little more. Honestly, at this point though, I feel like they're starting to breach into the world of like a bit too much, like releasing a bit too much at this point. I just feel like it's a lot. You know what I mean? Like just the metric function of Flak gameplay that we have. I mean, it's good, but the part of me is also like, I don't think we need any more of this because it's getting to the point where it's maybe spoiling things. I don't know. But what I do know is that I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for your time. Please go check out any of the people I mentioned because they are the only reason why we got any of this. Because yeah, well, that and Gearbox bringing in content creators and all those things, which is awesome to see, at least from my perspective, because I am as well a content creator. And anyways, thank you all so much for your time. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.